definitely know it's not Joe if it's an Avalanche game, of course.
It could be. You don't know. But yeah, it's probably not. If I could watch him on Stream East, I would. That's all I'm saying.
Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Undrafted Uncensored, where we're going to debate it later, but I don't understand how you can vote for a guy for the Hall of Fame one year and then the next year not vote for that same player. Still don't get it.
It's real easy. You just change your mind.
No, you don't change your mind. If they're Hall of Famer one year, they're a Hall of Famer the next year.
Depends on who it is.
No, it does not.
What did they do in the offseason? What did they do in between? What screwed it up?
Well,
debate it later. I know.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll debate it later, but domestic violence and things like that apparently don't account for anything anymore.
No, not really, unfortunately.
But we'll start with happiness first. Gentlemen, we are a few hours away from more playoff football.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I love playoff football being Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And so 2:30 this afternoon, the Ravens and the Texans will get us kicked off. The Ravens are coming in off the bye. The Texans righted the ship just in time to win their first ever playoff game against the Cleveland Browns. How are we looking in that game? I mean, it's an unknown against a questionable top seed.
A questionable top seed. Wait, what? How are the Ravens a questionable top seed? I mean, if you're talking about past history and Lamar Jackson never winning a playoff game, then yeah, that's questionable. But there's no doubt that was the best team in the AFC all year long.
Okay, shaky.
Shaky in the playoffs. I mean, they've been the best team in the AFC the whole year, at least consistently. Yes. What they had, I don't think they got blown out in any games. I might be misremembering, but I think they were really close in every game. Whereas all the other teams, I mean, you had the Buffalo Bills score 10 points against the Patriots and win a game. You had the Miami Dolphins, blow out the Broncos and then get blown out subsequently in other random games. The Chiefs, who can't find an offense. Shaky as far as past history, yes, but shaky this year as far as deserving of the top seed, no. The question is, how are they going to respond off of the bye week? Can Lamar Jackson get his first win? They really have been the best team, and they've overcome a lot of adversity. You think about their running back game. They had J.K. Dobbins, who started the season on fire, gets hurt. Gus Edwards gets hurt. They're rocking Melvin Gordon out there. I shouldn't have said his name.
No, they just cut him, actually. He's gone. They signed Dalvin Cook.
Oh, yeah. Dalvin Cook. That's right. They have Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. They probably knew that going into the playoffs, they didn't want to fumble. Because didn't he fumble last week? Did he fumble? I'm pretty sure.
I believe it.
He probably did.
Yeah.
I know the Ravens, or in the Week 17 game, excuse me. I know they had a fumble, and I'm pretty sure it was Melvin Gordon who fumbled in their last game. And then
who else would it be?
Then Justice Hill came in and ran most of it. But they've overcome some adversity. They have their young wide receiver core, Zay Flowers leading the way. Even Rashad Bateman feels like he's been in the league for a while, but he's still relatively young. Odell Beckham, we'll see if his ACLs hold up through the playoffs, but they're a dynamic team, and it's all about Lamar Jackson. Can he get over the hump in the playoffs?
See, most of those names you mentioned are kind of why I agree with Nick that they're kind of a shaky at best first round or number one overall seed. Like they kind of got it from out of default almost, like Kansas City should have been the best team. They just couldn't put it all together. Buffalo could have, but again, they had their slump in the middle of the season. So the Ravens just kind of by virtue of not being terrible, but I don't feel like they've ever been like number one seed, like good. I feel like they've had some games here and there, but like there's certain games, like they only throw to one receiver most of the time. And then when Mark Andrews went down, it was like, oh man, how are they going to do that? And so there'd be games where, Zay Flowers will get 2 catches. And then their running game is just real, like you said, just real iffy. Everyone's been in and out. Like, I don't know how much I trust this team to really, I don't know, put their best foot forward in the playoffs. We'll have to see because we haven't seen them in the playoffs yet, which is a big part of it. But something about this team just feels like they're about to topple over. They feel very top heavy. And if the Texans can just play consistently, like, yeah, just the way your mother likes it, Trebek. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of with Nick. Like, I don't know how much of a number one seed they really are. It's just they had to give it to somebody. So it ended up being the Ravens. Because yeah, Odell Beckham does not scare me as a number 2 receiver. Rashad Bateman, yeah, you kind of forget he's still in the league. And there's still days where they don't get the ball to Zay Flowers. But Lamar Jackson is ridiculous at the end of the day, and he can turn the tide one way or the other. But it's just, I don't know, man. This is another one of those games where, like, we had a bunch of them last week in the wild card. We felt like a lot of these away teams could win, and like this kind of feels like another one of those games.
So well, does it feel like? I was just gonna say, does it feel like they can win? Does it feel like they can win just because of what CJ Stroud did last week or what he's been doing the last few weeks? Or does it feel like they can win because, or they're shaky because of the Ravens' past? Like, which one are you putting on? Because what I'm thinking is that I don't disagree that maybe it was default, but they were still in one of the toughest divisions with some of the best defenses in the NFL.
Oh,
both
true.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And then the Bengals had an off year, but they're still division games. We all know how tough those are. I mean, we've seen the Broncos, who have been shitty, play the Chiefs, who have been really good, very well for a few years. So let's not, pitter patter around the fact that those division games are tough. Those teams are pretty good. I feel like the Ravens really were the most consistent team in the AFC, especially over the season. And you could even argue that they were more consistent than the 49ers, because the 49ers lost Trent Williams, and then Brock Purdy looked like he should have been back in, well, I was going to say Division II football, but he didn't play Division II football. Brock Purdy, once he lost that left tackle, which is a big deal. Like, I'm not trying to put light to that, but
yeah,
the 49ers couldn't do anything at all. So yeah, they're top heavy, and it is about staying healthy. But Odell Beckham, yeah, he hasn't done much, but he is one of the most sure-handed receivers in the NFL. So if you got 3rd and 5, you throw it to him, he's catching it. Go ahead.
So I'm looking at his schedule right now. Their 3 losses came against Indianapolis, which is a team they should have beat. That was in overtime. They lost to the Steelers 17-10, and they lost to the Steelers 17-10. I'm sorry, and then there's one more loss. I'm sorry, Cleveland as well. They lost 33-31.
Yeah, I remember that game.
3 of their 4 losses came against division rivals. Those games, as you said, Colin, they were relatively close because they're division games. They beat the Bengals 27-24. They beat Cleveland 28-3. They beat Cincinnati 34-20. And then the final loss, obviously. The only 2 teams they really, quote unquote, dominated. Well, I'll give them the Cleveland game too. So 3. So 28-3 over Cleveland, 23-7 over Jacksonville, and 56-19 over Miami. Other than that, the rest of these games, in Seattle, they beat 37-3. I missed out.
That's a good one.
So they have a tendency to put points up, but at the same time, they're still one or 2 score games, which makes me nervous because CJ Stroud has no fear right now. He's playing with house money, and he doesn't care. He's a kid. He's gonna go up and he's gonna do what kids do. And I mean, we've seen kids perform pretty well. And like I said, I call the Ravens shaky because of past history. Until you can prove to me that you can get over that hump, I'm not really going to believe in you.
Well, okay. So, I mean, when I'm going back, man, I got to find it. I was going to say that Indianapolis Colts game that they lost was an OT loss.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That I want to say that was Anthony Richardson, who had like his best game as a pro. And that's still one of those where you had an unknown new rookie quarterback.
What week was
it?
Week 3.
Week
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, that was right around the time. Yeah,
27 for 44, 227, and a tutty.
That might have been the game that Richardson got hurt in.
Or maybe it was week 2 that he got hurt and then came in. But yeah, I was trying to look back at that. Yeah, you have some of those games, and every team has it, but they weren't blown out in any of their losses. Whereas you look at some of these other teams in the other games, I don't remember seeing the Ravens really just be blown out. You looked at the Bills, and the Broncos beat the Bills, for God's sake.
Yeah, the Broncos are so bipolar, though, right now that you never know who they're going to beat.
I mean, and you were forgetting, I'm pretty sure you forgot the biggest game in there. How about the Ravens versus the San Francisco 49ers game when they kicked their ass on prime time, Nick?
Yeah, but weren't the Niners dealing with injuries at that game too?
No,
that was the 4 interception game, wasn't it?
No,
was it? Pretty 4 picks.
Yeah, that was right after they had Williams come back the week before. If you look at the 49ers schedule, that was they were all healthy. It was Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, they were all there. McCaffrey, and they put the beat down on them in San Francisco or in Levi Stadium. Technically not San Francisco.
In the Bay Area.
Yeah, it's in the Bay Area.
It's around there.
It's in that vicinity code. It's in the area code, so it counts.
I got hoes. In different area codes. Sorry.
Like I said, I just think they've been really the most complete team all year long. And yeah, they haven't had they had a signature win. And those losses, I don't take. I mean, they suck because, yeah, you lost your division games, but they still found a way to win the division while losing 3 division games. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. I mean, yeah, they're a good team for sure. I don't know. Like, even still with the remaining teams, I don't know how much I trust them to like make it to the Super Bowl. Like,
they're the most likely right now.
Which feels like, again, I guess that's technically true, but I don't know, man. I would pick, this feels like one of those times where you see the odds and you're like, ooh, all right, which of the other teams do I take? Because I know I don't believe in this one. I just don't know if I'm going to pick the right one out of Chiefs, Bills, or Texans, especially if it ends up being Texans, because no one's going to pick that.
I mean, trust me, I want the Texans to win it all. I have $20 to win 1,000 on them.
That's awesome. I love that. That's what I was hoping to get with fucking Cleveland, but nope, Houston had to ruin it. So I should have done the same thing and just, taken the team that beat my team. But God, I shouldn't say that. Cleveland is not my team, but it's the team I bet on.
Clip that. Let's save that.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, gotta love
Joe Goodwin is.
I mean, I liked this version
pound.
For this year. It was hilarious. So that was the team I was definitely rooting for most, probably. But I mean, knowing full well they weren't going to do anything. Or they'd get lucky with their defense. Maybe I'd win some money. That'd be dope. But like, that's just funny, 38-year-old quarterback off the street, and it's Joe Flacco, the guy that sucked when he was good. So like, now when he's old, he's somehow better, and that just makes me smile. But yeah, no, I don't believe in it, man. Something about it, and watch me be wrong, and Lamar Jackson gets his first Lombardi, but I don't see it. I might take him to win this game. I'm still not sure, but I don't know, man.
I think I'd take the Ravens, but I don't think I'd take the spread. I'd take them on the money line.
Oh, yeah, it's like 9.5.
Yeah. No, really not.
Yeah, I would definitely take the Ravens on the money line, not the spread, though.
Yeah, this will be close no matter what, I feel like.
Like, the thing that I would worry about with the Ravens is a low-scoring game because you mentioned their 2 losses came in low-scoring affairs. And one of those was also Week 18 with Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley starting. So
everyone's favorite Pro Bowl quarterback.
To be fair, you know, I don't see this being a low-scoring kind of game because while the Ravens' defense is pretty good, I think the Texans' offense is just. I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders. If it's not Nico Collins, it's Dalton Schultz, or if it's not Dalton Schultz, it's a fan favorite former Bronco Andrew Beck.
Oh,
getting these touchdowns.
Fullbacks aren't dead yet.
I have a fun parlay that includes Andrew Beck, Zay Flowers, Nico Collins, and Andrew Beck touchdown. It pays like $1,000 or like $800 for $20 or something, or $10. I can't remember what I put on it.
If you could take like yards for Beck, I might, but a whole touchdown, that's why you get $1,000.
No, that's good right there, because you get down to that red zone real quick. You're just trying to get some points on the board. Your tight end is going to be that guy that usually will get you those quick points. You find Beck on a little in route.
Yeah, and you gotta have some trickeration in your playbook to beat the Ravens, because their defense will over pursue. They are an aggressive defense.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just gonna say too. You look at that offense, and here's the one problem that offense is. Oh shit! Don't do that to me now.
Do it.
Oh. Come with me now.
Here's the one problem that Texans are going to have to deal with. And well, you know what? We didn't even have to realize or look at this because.
Is it Lamar Jackson?
No. There you go. Look at that.
Oh, hey, it's bad in Baltimore. Imagine that.
Bad in Baltimore. They're saying it's going to be in the 20s.
Ooh, you think that's bad? Just wait till you see the weather in the stadium in Detroit.
Oh, yeah, I heard that's going to be pretty bad, too. Pretty balmy, 72 degrees.
Oh, I can't wait. They might turn up the humidity slightly.
So to clarify my bet, it's a free $5 bonus bet. But Zay Flowers, Nico, and Andrew Beck, the free $5 bet pays $425. So if I had bet $10 on it, it would have been $900.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but just take the free $5. I love that.
Yeah. So like I said, if it was like a $20 bet, it would be well over $1,000. But it's one of those.
What the hell?
It's what the hell, and you also have to look in these games. You look for your superstars to shine, but how many times have we said, a random guy's name is the reason, makes the big play to win the game?
Yeah.
You think back to this, Super Bowls where it's a lineman catching, a pass, the Philly special.
Perry.
Excuse me?
Refrigerator Perry.
The fridge, William Perry.
I got a buddy whose name is William Perry. He's a different guy.
You call him
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, no, you don't. You never met him, but his name's Billy. He's a good dude.
There's also a William Perry who went to the media school who does editing.
Well, that's cool. I don't think I know him. Anyway,
you were like a super senior. How did you not know him?
Because you guys all went before me. If he stayed, I might have known him, but he probably left.
He was after. It's all good.
Oh, well, so, now that we've got that one, Packers and 49ers. This one's the one I think my eye is going to be on a little bit more. Only because...
Because you made a bet?
No. The Packers have started to really turn that corner. And, we saw them at the beginning of the season. They were on the struggle bus. Even when they came to Denver, that was not a fun... Well, it was a fun game because the Broncos won, but it was not a fun game if you were a Packers fan because it was just sheer frustration. And somehow, some way, Jordan Love has kind of figured out how to play quarterback. And everybody's starting to maybe a little quickly, in my opinion, they're starting to bless him as the next franchise quarterback.
You're always going to hear the comparisons.
Yeah.
It brought me back to the Greasy taking his first snaps for the Broncos after Elway. and him trying to draw the defense off sides, and they're like, that sounds like a former quarterback who's played here. It's like, guys, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, let's not do that. But I will say that some of the throws that he did make were Rodgers-esque and Favre-like. So, yeah, maybe he took some pieces of all those guys and brought them into his own. But he struggled at times in the season. I know you said he had a rough start. He didn't have that bad of a start. It just wasn't as good as his finish. His middle of the season sucked. But that's one of those things it takes that you're looking for in a young quarterback, is to be able to transform and adapt to what's happening when the defenses transform and adapt to how you're playing. And Jordan Love has shown an ability to do that. So can he take the next step, especially against a 49ers secondary that really isn't that good?
No, they rely heavily on their offense.
And it brings me to two of my favorite bets today. Jordan Love, under 1 interception, is at plus 140. He's had only 1 interception in his last 6 games. And Romeo Dobbs, over 3.5 receptions, is at plus 120.
Oof.
So I took those earlier today when I saw them. I don't know if the numbers have changed, but I expect this to be a game that Christian McCaffrey in San Francisco is probably going to try and run the ball and play some clock management, because the Packers have shown the ability to be explosive. But I also think that the 49ers can set up a lot of big plays because of how good their running game is, and this Packers defense is below average. I mean, they're not that good.
Yeah, they've got some good players.
They do. Jair Alexander, but he's also hobbled.
Yep. Yeah, they got Rashawn Gary. They got old Kenny Young, which makes me smile to say it that way. But yeah, no, that's not enough. They've got some good players. They don't have a good defense.
All reality, though, should they even be in the playoff? I mean, they turned it around real quick. They were on the outside looking in like the Broncos were. Only difference is the Packers kept winning. The Broncos kept losing.
I mean, by record, obviously, yeah, they deserve to be in the playoffs. But like, if you were taking the college football playoffs method and you were just ranking the best teams, you would probably rank somebody higher. New Orleans, maybe. I'm trying to think of who actually didn't make it.
But no, not by the end of the season, though. Not
if
by the
Josh Dobbs was still balling out for Minnesota, maybe. I mean, but again, there's 7 teams that have to get in the playoffs. So sometimes 7th best team in the conference isn't that good. And they got to play the Cowboys in the first round, so good for them.
Well, yeah, but I think you would vote them in if this was the college football playoff because of the way they finished the season, how good they were playing. When you think about the college football playoff, why Florida State didn't get in, they weren't playing that good, and they were down to their 3rd-string quarterback.
I think
the Packers were on fire to end the season. I mean,
as on fire as the Packers could get.
Well, touche, yes, but I mean, in comparison, like, would you put New Orleans in, who won their last game, 9-0? Wasn't that 9? No, Tampa Bay won 9-0.
Yeah,
New Orleans barely beat Atlanta in that final game. I don't know if I'd put another NFC team in over them at the end of the season.
Ooh, I forgot about Seattle.
Seattle laid an egg to end the season.
Oh, they did for sure, and I hate them because of all the shit they've been talking. So I vote against them out of spite is the words I was trying to say, and just could not. Yeah, no, it's those 3 teams though. It's New Orleans, Seattle, Green Bay, and yeah, again, kind of like the Ravens by default, they kind of get it, and they could surprise everybody. They'd have to do exactly what they did against Dallas, which is dominate the running game, and then their fast receivers have to get open deep and make the catches so that they can keep that pressure on, and they're going to have to do it more and better because the Niners, like, this could be a blowout for them. Like, with the way Christian McCaffrey can dominate that, the interior of that defense, like I said, if old Kenny Young and Rashawn Gary and those guys can't contain Christian McCaffrey just a little bit, everything else opens up on that team. You've got, the Debo package running all over the field in the backfield, lining up anywhere. They'll put him at left tackle if you don't think they won't. Brandon Ayuk is a fantastic receiver, and as long as Brock Purdy doesn't throw 4 interceptions, he's competing for the MVP. I think Lamar probably still takes it, but it's a conversation. Whereas now, because of that game, it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, this game could be real ugly, real fast. But I would love it if the Packers could put up a fight. Also, I'm mad. I was looking while you guys were talking at first. I can't find the over-under of yards for Andrew Beck because I want to hammer the over, but they just don't have it because he's so low tier. I want to be like, over 5 yards. Hit it. But no, I can't find it on DraftKings.
That's why I just put him out as a touchdown.
Yeah, see, I don't want that. Do I want yards?
Uh,
I think he'll do something. I'm just not going to guarantee it's a touchdown. I'll take the less money for yards.
You can get the Brevin Jordan over under, though.
I don't want that. His name isn't Andrew Beck. No, Mom, I don't want that one. But yeah, man, this game, it'll be fun for a little bit. It's one of those that I'll follow. And then if it gets crazy, I will turn it off. Or maybe I'll turn it on like halfway through the first quarter if I get distracted doing stuff. Also, I think I work it, so never mind to any of that. But that's how I would kind of treat it. And then maybe it ends up being awesome. But I don't know, man. This feels like the Cinderella story is over. And of course, every Green Bay fan is going to label the current quarterback as the next dynasty because they just don't want to be wrong. They want to be the team that went, Favre to Rodgers to hopefully Jordan Love is a name that we say in reverence. So they're always going to say that until he totally shits the bed.
Yeah, I mean, some teams get lucky once in a while. Sometimes teams get lucky 3 times in a row. We'll never know.
I just got to say, I just realized I didn't get lucky on something. Read your bets.
Read your bets.
I chose the women's soccer team on this parlay instead of the men's soccer team.
Oh.
And I lost a parlay that, I just realized.
Was that the only leg you lost?
It was the only leg that I lost. I'm sitting here. I'm like, how did I lose this when it says it was soccer? It was Roma versus Milan. And I chose the women's team instead of the men's team as the winner.
Because they're both there playing. And how could you know that they're both playing there?
There's a W on the end. I quick put it together with the help of like some stat sheets, and I didn't realize that I chose the women instead of the men's team. Like a fucking idiot.
For USA?
No. Oh. This is international soccer.
Oh, okay.
AS Roma
international friendlies.
Yeah. AS Roma versus Inter Milan.
Yeah, USA and Slovenia are about to start.
America.
Oh, cool. Is Luka playing?
Moving on to the indoor game that apparently is going to have some weather issues. Detroit and Tampa Bay. That's a good matchup right there. I like that matchup. It's going to be a fun game.
Yep.
I hope. And
I feel the same way.
I mean, either way, out of that game, you get a worthwhile team to root for in the NFC Championship.
Man, I love Baker Mayfield.
I do too. I've been a Baker fan for a while.
That offense in Detroit is so good.
Yeah.
Like they really, I mean, is this the next greatest show on turf? Like legitimately, because they are Jameson Williams. If he can stay out of fucking NFL jail,
and real jail,
he stayed out of real jail. I want to say, but NFL like there's no more betting. I mean, these guys are just lighting it up, and you lose Sam Laporta for part of a game, and you just. They're so good, and it's with Jared Goff at quarterback,
right? Like that's the most surprising, but like that's why I think they can't be known as like a greatest show on turf because Goff will probably never be at the level of Kurt Warner. But I mean, we said that about. Well, no, I wasn't watching football in like the year 2000. I was yelling about the Broncos and how great they were, but I didn't follow the whole game, so I wasn't like, that Kurt Warner guy is gonna suck for the Rams. But like we all probably would have said that, like this grocery guy, but we all would have been excited too because it reminds me of like Gardner Minshew. But yeah, they're just so fast. Like, and does the is the Detroit turf or is it real grass? Because I feel like with the dome it has to be turf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that that's a tick in the potential. Yeah, the next greatest show on turf or something. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. This is one of those games. It feels like, again, like the Lions and like the Niners and Packers, where like the Buccaneers have a way to be able to do it, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to consistently keep that firepower up. Because yeah, Baker Mayfield's got that moxie, and he's got those fucking receivers that are really talented. And Rachaad White is fast and good. Their O-line is fine. So their defense worries me a little bit, but they're kind of scrappy too. They're kind of one of those no-name defenses that kind of comes together. They got our old guy Shaq Barrett. My guy Sack Barrett, wearing number 7 now, which feels weird, but he can, so do it. But yeah, like I just feel like the Lions are going to outpace them. I mean, to be fair, you put a Pirate against a Lion, it's going to lose.
Are you sure about that?
Well, yeah, because he only has one shot in his gun, and the Lion's just going to eat it. And the Lion dies later from lead poisoning, but
So this year, the Lions switched from slit film turf to monofilament field turf, which is considered the most grass-like surface of the 3 kinds of turf used in the NFL. So, still turf, but the most grass-like turf. I don't know.
Still turf.
I don't know. That's like the most realistic feeling fake boobies.
When you grab a woman's breast and it just feels like a bag of sand.
They're real and they're spectacular.
Yes. All right, Jerry.
David Caruso in Jade.
I do think that the part of the Baker Mayfield thing is he has played in some big games, not as many in the NFL, obviously. But you look at this Lions team, and many of these guys haven't played in big games that are playing. I think I don't know if CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be playing this week. I need to look up, actually. Let me pull up the injury report.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I feel like Goff also has that quarterback, or Goff. Goff has been around for big games, obviously, but I do like Baker's swagger in a game like this, and his his confidence could turn into the fuck it, Brett Favre, Minnesota Vikings. I'm just throwing like 7 picks in this game. Like, who cares? Though.
That sounds like fun, though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Just like former Buccaneers quarterback Jameis Winston.
But it was fun, man.
Quarterback?
Huh?
You mean future Broncos quarterback Jameis Winston?
Sadly, that's an option. And we might get into that later or on a different episode. Because when you look at the free agent class, like sadly, that's one of the guys that's like, shit, that's maybe doable. And I don't love it, but I kind of love it.
It should be interesting because I don't. Sean Payton's looking for his guy. He's got to have his guy.
My
guy.
Guy. Hey, I got a guy.
I'm not your buddy, guy.
So yeah, three injuries for the Lions. Khalif Raymond, Sam Laporta. Khalif Raymond is out. Laporta's questionable. He'll play. And edge rusher James Houston questionable.
Broncos legend Khalif Raymond. I almost said it wrong. I said Khalif Raymond.
If he stayed with the Broncos, he probably would have been Khalif Raymond.
There you go. Or I'd say like
they wouldn't have used him correctly. That's for sure. Are we on to Cincinnati?
I wasn't sure if you were done, so yeah, we can head on to Buffalo.
Cincinnati.
I mean,
on to Buffalo. How good does that sound? Patrick Mahomes has to go on the fucking road
for the first time in his career.
Let's go.
Buffalo.
in the snow and ice of Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, he didn't do that last week. Wait.
No, it's the snow and ice of Kansas City. That's nothing.
I think he'll actually be happier in Buffalo because it'll be at least cooler. I mean, cooler. It'll be warmer than it was for that game. Like, yeah, my footing is a lot worse, but you know what? I can feel my hands.
My coach doesn't look like that seal from that meme.
Oh, that was the best part. We love that.
Did you see the highlight of him getting up next to the warmer saying, "I need to defrost my mustache"?
No.
Yeah. He literally told one of the guys at the end of it, he's like, "I got to stand next to the warmer. I got to defrost my stash."
That's funny.
Great. I felt that when we worked those days when it was negative whatever here in Denver, and I was at the fan, and I walked out from the stadium, and I could feel it in the station, and I could just feel the little like tiny bits of sweat that I didn't realize were there, but now they're freezing, and I can tell, and it's like, oh damn. And it went away pretty quick because my car has a heater, thank God, and I wasn't standing out for multiple hours in a football game. But like that shit does not feel good. It feels weird. It kind of does feel good. It's kind of cool. It's cool. Like you almost want to like break your mustache, but then like the hairs are gonna fall off. So that sounds bad.
I enjoyed playing in that weather, and it was, it was fun. I don't think we ever got that cold when we played, but like when we had to play in our postseason tournament, I mean it was pretty cold. I enjoyed playing in those games because you never know what was going to happen, and it's fun to play football in that weather because that's what you're supposed to do. And then you get home and you take that nice hot shower afterwards, and you just feel like you're melting. Oh.
I'm melting.
So yeah, is the Wicked Witch of the West going to melt in this game? Oh.
You mean Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
No, Brittany Mahomes.
Yeah, it's much more Brittany. Yeah,
it's
right.
Brittany.
You're right. Good call, Nick.
I gotta give credit where credit's due.
I set it up and you knocked it out.
T Swizzle has not done enough to really garner my hatred. I actually give her credit. She's out there to support. She's getting into the game. Whatever.
And I was just gonna say, and it's Travis Kelce. It's like Mahomes has too much of the other crap around him, and Brittany has been part of it, along with his brother.
The Kelces are just hilarious.
Yeah. The Kelces, it's like the Mahomes make it easy not to like them, but the Kelces.
Jackson makes it easy to not like Patrick. Patrick's tolerable.
I was like, Brittany,
on his own, he would be tolerable.
Yeah, but I have nothing against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but it's like that's what makes it easy to not like him is the people around Patrick. But yeah, Kelce, you just I want those guys to play. I want to play football forever. I want those guys to play football forever.
Right? But that's the dude you want to like go out after a game and crack a brew with and throw darts at the wall. Not even like at a dartboard. Just throw darts at a wall.
Just throw darts. Yeah. Who needs a board?
Darts. He's a dart guy. He's just like, hey, look at that.
You take it and you just,
Yeah. They're your chaos friends. They're like, you make a recommendation and then they kind of take it another couple steps further so that you guys are like, you get the attention of the bartender and they're like, I know what you're going to do. Don't do your shit or I'm going to kick you out. And you're like, okay, sorry, Bobby.
And then when they're not looking, you do it.
And then he walks to the bathroom and you go and like huck a shit ton of whatever at the wall.
And you just point at everyone else.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they shake
then
their
you move tables.
No, I once stuck a steak knife in a wall by throwing it like a throwing knife from the blade. We were drinking at this girl's apartment in high school, and it was a shitty apartment, and nobody cared, and her dad wasn't there that night, and so we were all kicking it, and we decided, you know what? Let's throw knives at the wall. And I got one stick. I was
so you went from kicking it to sticking it.
Damn straight.
Yo. I feel this is all Bills. Everything is just going to be too much for the Chiefs. Buffalo can't lose at home. The Chiefs can't win on the road.
Will Willie Snead lock down Stephon Diggs? Because there's no Gabe Davis in this game. He's officially out.
Oh, is he?
L'Jarius Sneed?
Yeah.
Willie Sneed.
Did I say Willie Snead?
You definitely did.
My bad. I watched an old Saints video the other day, so that's probably where Willie Snead came from. Well, L'Jarius Sneed locked down.
Shout out to Willie Snead.
Yeah, I know. I was watching the greatest collapses in NFL history. The Broncos obviously have one on there, and then they're part of two of other teams' epic collapses. Thank you, Cleveland.
Yes.
But will L'Jarius Sneed shut down Stephon Diggs? And does that mean, like, who's the best? Is it Dalton Kincaid who wins this game for the Bills, or is it just Josh Allen? Is Josh Allen going to throw for like 250 and rush for 75 in this game? That's kind of what I'm looking for in this game, because, or maybe James Cook. I'm not sure.
Allen and Cook.
I'm not sure who it is, because this Chiefs defense is really damn good this season. I mean, they are tough. We talked about playing in the cold. They're going to hit you in your mouth. And that's something that the Bills haven't really responded well to this season. A la the game I mentioned against the Patriots. Patriots got an early pick. Maybe it was a pick 6. And
but the difference
the Bills just started reeling.
Last week, Kansas. I mean, no offense by this, but Kansas City was playing Miami last week. We all know Miami was more of a fake team than what they came out showing us. We all saw it. You know, they did what they did to Denver that carried them through the entire season. They beat bad teams. They barely kept their head above water against good teams, and they backed into the playoffs. It is what it is, and Buffalo proved that they're the better team still, and I have total faith in them.
That's fair. My worry for Buffalo in this game is that the Chiefs come out and get a big defensive play and get to Josh Allen early. That's really the thing that we've seen when Buffalo wasn't playing well. It was because it was an early pick or an early fumble on offense, and then they started reeling. So this game, I think, more than any of the others, really is about the start of the game for both of the teams. I think we'll know in the first quarter, where this game is going. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling it'll be a blowout one way or the other. Like, whoever wins that first quarter is just going to go on to dominate. Even if it is KC and their offense has sucked, it's more the Buffalo Bills compounding issues that I think would happen if it's KC who comes out on a fast start.
It'd be like a Kansas City blowout of like 28-7.
Yeah.
It's a big enough gap, but at the same time, it's not a super high scoring game. They did enough to keep the Bills at bay.
Yeah, and the 7 came in the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
I feel like this is it's whoever fucks it up first. Like, I think both teams are equally capable of screwing this up. Like, absolutely, Kansas City has looked off, but dude, Buffalo has not looked on. They played Pittsburgh last week. Let's be real here, Nick. Them being at home is huge. Having that kind of fire under them with their fans, because it will be cold and it will be snowy. But they handled it, and it's different conditions than what Kansas City dealt with. But like, I can totally see, like you said, Buffalo just not being able to move the ball, because they unless James Cook is juking people out of their shoes, because they're like putting nails in his cleats or some shit. They don't have the power to really compete unless we get a big Latavius Murray game, which I would love in the playoffs. But I can see Buffalo just not be able to move the ball. Like, Josh Allen can't get his feet set, can't get it to Diggs. They know he's trying to force it to Diggs. Or Diggs can't do anything, and they just double Gabe Davis. And can't get it to Gabe Davis.
No, either. Gabe is out.
Gabe's out? Oh, okay.
Out. Yeah, I said, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he's out officially. That's why I said, is it Josh Allen running?
So then it's going to be
James Cook. Is it Dalton Kincaid? Is it Dawson Knox?
It's Dawson Knox and Kincaid together. I think that's going to be the big kind of differentiating factor because they're not great with the run, but that gives them enough dynamics, and that's what they did last week. I didn't realize Davis was out last week. And this week too, I guess I wonder if he's just injured for the season or if he's trying to come back. But that's huge. Like, yeah, I could see either team just kind of screwing this up. Yeah, it's going to be, and honestly, dude, Kansas City's run game looks better. Like, it's kind of the same thing against Miami. Like, I believe in Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire and Juice McKinnon out of the backfield than I do the Bills running game right now. And that's also because of the line. But, like, something about it, man, I feel like the Chiefs can win hard-fought, slug it out, kind of running the football game. And like you guys said, too, whoever comes out to a lead, the other team now is going to feel like they have to pass more. And in that weather, that could be it.
Yeah, and I think it also goes to Sean McDermott. Like, that run game, James Cook is just underutilized. I mean, It took so long for the Bills. Literally, once the Bills started winning again was when they started to utilize James Cook. Like, what the hell are you doing when you have this guy who is a pretty dynamic runner and you just are not using him, whether it be out of the backfield catching the ball or running the ball? He has a whole different dynamic to that offense that they haven't had for years, and that was one of the biggest issues in Buffalo, why they couldn't win, was because they couldn't run the ball. And in the playoffs, we see that running the ball is it's more important than, or at least having the threat of a running game is more important than it is during the regular season. So if you can establish some sort of running game with James Cook, and Latavius Murray probably down at the goal line because they don't like to give James Cook touchdowns, then we'll see.
Colin knows this. He was a James Cook owner in fantasy.
I traded him away.
All right. Well, we'll obviously get to those here in a few minutes.
Yes,
let's transition a little bit as we are just a few days away from the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Less than a month from spring training.
That too. Announcing
how many home runs is
candidates.
What's his name for the Rockies going to hit in spring training?
Chris Bryant.
Yeah, Chris Bryant.
I put the over on 7.5.
I always think Chris Bryant is the guy for the Phillies. Who's the guy for the Phillies that everyone hates and loves at the same time? The main guy?
Bryce Harper?
Yes. Yeah, I always get Bryce Harper and Chris Bryant confused because of the Bry thing. So I'm always like, Chris Bryant? No, that's the Phillies guy. No, that's Bryce Harper.
Well, speaking of one guy who's not going to be a Hall of Famer.
Chris Bryant?
No.
Yes.
That's it. So right now, as of last update at 11:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 173 public ballots and 11 anonymous ballots have been in. I don't know if you guys know about this, but for those of you that listening that don't know, if you follow at not Mr. Tibbs on Twitter, Ryan Thibodeau does a Hall of Fame tracker, and so he gets a good number of the ballots that come in, and he will do a tracker for them. Him and two other guys are doing it this year because Ryan had, I guess, a little bit more going on than before. And his tracker is usually pretty accurate, and it will let you know if your guy's going to get in, if he's not going to get in, or if he's on the borderline. So right now, let's just say the votes were done today, you would have three new Hall of Famers. I was right. 4 new Hall of Famers entering Cooperstown this year. Those 4 would be Adrian Beltre, who's in there on his first ballot, Billy Wagner, Billy the Kid, the closer, formerly the Houston Astros, Joe Mauer, Minnesota Twins catcher / first baseman / DH, and last but not least, number 17, Todd Helton.
Yes, sir.
Helton's sitting at 83.2% right now. Obviously, again, he needs 153 more votes to get himself into Cooperstown. I'm sorry, not 150.
I was like,
that math right.
I'm like, whoa.
Sorry, wrong one. 135. He needs 135 more votes to get in. And I've been going through the tracker. Obviously, when they put public ones out, I'm a little more harsh on those. I'm a little less harsh on those guys than the ones that come in anonymously and they drop Todd Helton for Omar Vizquel.
Yep, that's great.
Vizquel is sitting at 9.8% right now, and he's got a lot of personal stuff going on. And as we all know, Cooperstown does not like people in the Hall of Fame that, cause a lot of ruckus. I mean, we're lucky that they still have Ty Cobb in there.
Yeah.
But ask Pete Rose how that works out for you.
We bring the motherfucking ruckus.
I mean, you gotta assume that the Vizquel is a Cleveland voter, because or White Sox, yeah. But it's stupid, and that's why I wish they would all just be made public, because then put your name on it.
If one anonymous guy that didn't vote for Jeter,
yeah,
can finally get his past due.
It's just, it really is a joke, because if you want to be taken seriously, you put your name on stuff, right or wrong, and then you defend yourself afterwards if you want to.
Yeah.
We've all been wrong plenty of times. Every week we're reminded of when we're wrong. I mean, hello, Pittsburgh Steelers last weekend. All right.
What did I say?
We take our licks when we need to, but when you're voting for something like the Hall of Fame, how the hell can you not have your name behind your vote? How it's disrespectful to the Hall of Fame. It really is, because you are allowed to vote on these guys being forever enshrined into a group of guys.
One of the greatest Halls of Fame.
Yeah, and if you're voting on it, if you have the right to vote on that, you should be proud of who you're voting for. And if you're not proud of who you're voting for, you might want to rethink your vote. That's where I stand.
Yeah, like if you're so scared of the backlash that you would actually change your opinion and change your vote, then you shouldn't have the fucking vote to begin with. So the whole idea of like anonymity adds more like realism or more honesty to the picks, I think is bullshit. Yeah. Because at the end, like, it helps people whose picks would be stupid and wrong. Like, maybe you should rethink your pick because everyone's going to hate you because you didn't pick Derek Jeter, because that's stupid. Obviously, the man's a Hall of Famer. Or you just don't pick him because you don't want him to be a unanimous one, and that's your opinion. And the guy that you pick can just be any random asshole, because your idea isn't to take someone over Jeter. It's just to not have him be a unanimous guy. But again, stand by that. I agree. Well, I don't know too much about baseball, but yeah, sure, that sounds dumb. He's one of the few, guys in baseball that kind of transcends baseball. You see him in all the Subway commercials and all that. So I'm sure the casuals are like, oh, he must play sports of some sort, but like they'll recognize his face probably more so than his name. But for sports people, we all know fucking Derek Jeter, obviously. But
the other thing too is, voters too will go to lengths like, they're not a first ballot Hall of Famer. They did that to Craig Biggio.
Yeah.
A few years ago. They're like, oh, he's just not a first ballot Hall of Famer. We'll put him in next year. And I'm like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter because that plaque just says Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it doesn't say first ballot.
No. No, the only people that have any recognition probably on their ballot, on their plaques, are the first class, because they were all the first class.
The X-Men first class, yeah.
Mariano Rivera for being the first unanimous pitcher in there, and maybe Jeter, but I doubt it. So in our reality, the first class and Mo being the first unanimous are the only ones that should have anything on their plaque. Nobody else cares. You get in your first year, your 10th year, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So just stick by your votes. Like, maybe he's more deserving next year. We'll just see what the class looks like next year. No.
And I mean, there are some classes that are weaker than others. I think we can agree on that. And there are times like this where you have a guy like Vizquel on the ballot where he was a great defensive shortstop, and maybe in one of those down years he finds a way in, but then you have all this off the field stuff, whereas you have a consistency from Todd Helton playing in a small market in Colorado, who probably he could have gone to the Yankees and won a series or two. You have those things, and then you have the Colorado altitude, humidor, blah blah blah.
His
blah, blah,
numbers without his road numbers alone have him hitting over 300.
Oh no, I know. I know, but they're still always going to say, well, you still have your inflated numbers from Coors Field.
I'm helping your numbers.
It's like, bro, he was great on the road too, but they don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about the Coors Field inflated numbers when they're trying to talk against Helton or any of the Rockies,
who hit better than Tony Gwynn, both at home and on the road. His splits at home and on the road were better than Tony Gwynn's. And Tony Gwynn is one of the greatest hitters we had the privilege to see.
Yes. I don't even know what the fuck that is. So why is he in over Todd Helton?
No, Tony Gwynn definitely deserves to be in.
I'm sure.
But it's frustrating to have these guys, like I said, not put their names on it. And if you were a player and you piss someone off bad enough that they don't want to vote for you, I mean, you shouldn't. You shouldn't take personal vendettas into this. But let's be honest, we're all human, and if you do, fine, put your name on it. I didn't vote for the guy who didn't vote for Jeter. I didn't vote for Jeter because he was a total asshole to me. When I was a reporter. Okay, dude, we get it. There are people in this world that we don't like or get along with, and that we would never vote for ourselves to be in any sort of Hall of Fame or anything good for. There are people like that. And if you came out and just said that, I never liked the guy, he was a dick to me. Okay, dude, I get it. It's stupid. His numbers show he proves it, but we're all human. To do that, and if you say, hey, I want to vote Omar Vizquel because he was one of my Cleveland hometown guys, I want to give him the bump. Okay, sure, come out and say that, but don't go anonymous on it.
Exactly. Yeah, he's A-Rod's still getting votes. He's sitting at 39% right now. The dude got suspended twice for using performance-enhancing drugs.
Yep.
And he's still lingering on here.
All the lingerers.
Sheffield's in his final year.
Did you have to?
I think Sheffield's going to make it in.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm on the fence with him.
He was a big part of the Marlins World Series.
Marlins, yeah.
That was like the. Who was it?
Him, Fudge, and
oh my God, I'm trying to think about the pitcher, the Dominican pitcher that was lights out.
Wander Franco.
No.
I can't remember his name now.
Not El Duke. Oh my goodness. Oh, why were we like Marlins phenom pitcher first World Series?
Gotta feel stupid.
Livan Hernandez.
Yes.
Livan. Yeah. Like Sheffield was such a big part of that. And I know Livan, I'm pretty sure Livan was the MVP of the World Series. I can't remember who it was.
Pulling it
up. Like he was such a big
Livan Hernandez was
World Series MVP. But I mean that team, like Sheffield was just so good and for so long. It's hard to.
He just bounced around so much. I think kind of my biggest issue with him is he never stuck around very long anywhere.
Well, and that might go into the likes or dislikes of people because I think he definitely rubbed people the wrong way.
Oh yeah, I mean the dude was good though. That's the problem. He was so good, but he was so arrogant too. That is, it's hard to pinpoint whether or not you wanted him around because, like I told my mom about Josh Donaldson when the Yankees first brought him on. Dude, you don't want that dude on your team until he's on your team. And then, like, some of the goofy banter things that he does are worth it, but that was, back in his Oakland days.
We can go back to the Broncos, Bill Romanowski.
Yeah. Very much so.
Hated him when he was a 49er and a Raider, but man, when he was a Bronco, did you love it?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Romo, have you guys seen this show, The Dark Side of Football?
I've seen some of the episodes, but is there a Romo one?
Romo, dude.
Okay, nice.
Watch it. It's worth it. It's on Vice.
Yeah, they do really good documentary stuff.
Because, well, I fell into the dark side of wrestling, and then I fell into the dark side of comedy. Then they started the dark side of football, and now I'm just like stuck on the dark side of everything.
Do they have a dark side of the moon?
I don't know. They might.
It's just Buzz Adams punching that one guy that said the moon landing was fake.
Buzz Aldrin.
Well, let me bring you guys.
Yeah, but he went by Buzz Adams.
Into the bright side.
Yes.
We'll go to the bright side of the victory formation.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta, wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin, just kind of winging it.
That's right, everybody. There is a dark side to gambling, but not when you're using fake money. And there's no dark side when you crush your bets from last night. Did you guys see that? I went 6 for 7 and dominated yesterday. Boom, 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 boom.
Glance at it.
Did you guys like those picks?
I was still tired from my trip, so.
Well, don't worry. They're forever in our text message thread.
Oh, I know.
But let's go on to the weekend where it's going to end up dark for some guys as the lights in the facilities will be turned out for 4 teams, and they will stay on for another week for 4 others. We start with our first game that we started the show off with. That is the Ravens hosting the Texans. Ravens, big favorites, second largest favorites this weekend at minus 440 over the visiting Texans at plus 340. Nick, does Lamar exercise his demons, or do they stay on the dark side?
I think everything is just leaning a little too much towards Baltimore. I have to go with them. Again, I wouldn't take the spread. I would definitely take the money line on the Ravens. But I think with the weather, the fact the Ravens had a week off to get healthy and really clear their heads, it plays too well into Baltimore winning.
Joe, who you got?
I've been thinking about it, and I'm not sure how much I believe in the Ravens, but do I not believe in them enough to actually pick against them? Yes.
Oh,
yeah, I'm going to take Houston. Let's do it.
Well, Joe, I appreciate your belief in the Texans because in my heart, I hope they win. I really do, because I want them to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl and add money to my possible cash out. I don't believe it happened. So I was honestly hoping that the Texans would have a way of playing not the Ravens in this round, but yeah, with the Chiefs and the Bills winning, obviously that did not come to fruition. So the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, I think, get it done. They have just been. I think that this is actually the year that they'll make it to the Super Bowl. At least that's where I think now. It could easily change with how they look this week, or obviously if they lose this week. But give me the Ravens. All right, in our second game, the biggest spread of the weekend, the 49ers host the Packers. 49ers favored at minus 485. Packers at plus 370. Joe, who are you going with?
This is a tough. No, it's not. It's the Niners.
Yeah. I love the Packers. I love what they're doing. I hate the fact that they can find quarterbacks anywhere. And just because I hate the fact that they've had 2 straight Hall of Fame quarterbacks and one who looks to be damn good right now. Yeah, so give me the 49ers. Nick?
Do it. Take them.
Here.
Take them.
I liked how the Packers looked last week. I think Jordan Love has kind of found his little niche there, and the Packers are learning how to run that offense with him, and they're going to surprise some people, and they're going to topple the 49ers.
That will surprise everyone.
Wow. So, okay. Well, then this makes it really interesting if you are right, Nick. We head to our third game. That is the Bucks visiting the frigid indoor temperature at Ford Field in Detroit.
It's so cold.
The Bucks underdogs at plus 230, Lions minus 285 favorites. Talked about it earlier. I love Baker Mayfield. I think that the Buccaneers are really good, but I also believe that this Lions offense is just pretty much unstoppable unless you're playing the Ravens for one weird week where you can't do anything. So give me the Lions to win this game. Nick, who you got?
I don't know. I feel like Tampa Bay's still riding that high, but the Lions are just so good. I had Tampa Bay written down, but I think I'm going to have to go with Detroit.
Nick flip-flopping. What else is new? Joe, who you got?
I mean, I'm just surprised he didn't go with it because I'm not at all surprised that he had Tampa Bay written down. This one is closer than the last one, but I mean, still, Detroit basket. Wait,
They suck.
Yeah, they're terrible. We're taking the Lions.
Wow, we're sweeping the Lions, yet we're splitting the other two. Holy crap. Okay, guys, I don't know what the hell's going on. So, Nick, if you're right about the Packers, that means it's a Lions-Packers matchup in Detroit for the chance to go to the Super Bowl. How great would that be?
NFC North.
I mean, I'd cheer for that. I don't think it's going to happen. I just can't believe that we didn't split this Bucks game. Oh, and we move on to the final game of the weekend. Chiefs plus 120 underdogs to the Bills, minus 142 favorites in Buffalo. By the way, did you guys like that? What are the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah.
Thing that I sent you?
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
We're the Bills, but our Buffalo's a mascot. But who are the Bills? Can we call him William? We'll see if the Bills sacrificed enough people to the pit to win this game. Nick, who are you sacrificing your pick to?
The Williams.
He's taking the Bills. All right. Joe, who you got?
I just I hate this is what I do. I think I got to give Kansas City the slight edge. I've seen them do it more times. I would love to see Mahomes lose his first road playoff game, and that seems pretty likely, but there's just something about Buffalo I don't buy. I'm taking Kansas City.
All those things that you just said, Joe, I would love to see also. I would love to see Mahomes lose on the road. I would love just the Chiefs to go home and not have to hear any more about it. And then Jason and Travis can continue on their podcast and both contemplate retirement, which, like I said, I hope they never do. But with a long off season and chance to rehab for both guys, and they have the opportunity to come back next year.
I hope Travis retires.
And I think that's going to happen. Give me the Bills and two quarterbacks exercising their demons in the playoffs. Not only does Lamar Jackson do it, so does Josh Allen, beating the Chiefs with a chance to go to the conference championship game.
Just call it a Bowflex because the divisional round of the playoffs is an exercise machine.
Hey, there you go. So I am taking the Bills. Am I taking? Oh, fuck me. I'm taking all the favorites this weekend.
You're like me last week, and I did 500. So
yeah, well, I mean, 500 this week isn't going to win much if it's if the Packers and Texans win.
No, probably not.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a favorite kind of weekend. You know, you got here for a reason.
There you go.
But yeah, we got 40 minutes till kickoff, guys.
Few minutes.
And Nick's got an hour and a half until game time, or hour and a half till he arrives at game time. And I got DU hockey. Take the under tonight after last night's outpouring and big scoring game. I'm telling you. Do you wonder if it's even available?
Anywhere that it is available, take it.
I'm sure it is.
Find the local Colorado only sports books. You also have to be in Colorado to bet with them. But yeah, do it.
Use our promo code. Not a sponsor.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Yeah,
that's why I never plugged anyone. But yep.
Yeah, I didn't say their names. I know some of their names. I'm not saying them.
Romeo Dobbs over 3.5 receptions. Jordan Love, if you want
like
two
that.
straight up positive bets, Jordan Love under 1 interception. Those two bets I think are. The Love one is a little scary, but that's why it's plus 140. And he makes small ones, but I'm telling you, the Romeo Dobbs over 3.5 at plus 120. If it's still there, give it to me, baby.
And they say Colin's pretty fly for a white guy.
No doubt about it.
That's not your theme song.
Nope, but it is the outro song for today.
That's very anticlimactic, and I appreciate it.
Oh,
it's like a child learning how to do keyboards for the first time.
I mean, it's
easy
picks going into the weekend. I chose all the easy ones, all the favorites.
Thanks again to Colin for all of his hard work and dedication for choosing which games we're going to pick these past couple of weeks. It's been a slog for all of us, really.
Yeah, for Colin Zanker and the always wonderful Joe Goodwin. I'm Nick Archuleta. Thank you, Michael Spill, and everybody over at E5280 Sports for having us around.
Wunderbar.
Check their site, check their socials. They got other shows besides us, which are just as good, if not better. So until next time, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy
They're definitely better.
And go Avs, go.
Go Avs, go.